Welcome back to the Star Sports Kennel Visits. Now, we keep saying that because the Irish Derby is later this year, it's going to be a very strong Irish challenge at Towcester. So I've hopped on a plane, I've come to Ireland, and I'm at the kennels of Graham Holland to meet his extremely strong team. I'm very, very pleased to say that I am now joined by Graham Holland. And Graham, you've got countless titles in Ireland, but the English Ground Derby, something that you've been trying to win for a while. How many years have you been coming over for it?
Don't really know, actually. When you get to a certain age, you stop counting. A good few years, I would imagine. We've been lucky enough to win it the last 2 years. So I tend to look forward, not backwards. So I'll probably forget the ones we got beaten.
You've had plenty of finalists, but Romeo Magico was the one to do it for you in 2022. How did that feel, finally landing the English Derby?
It's very special because he was homebred by Dave Furniture and Nicola. And Timmy actually looked after him, more or less, and done him really for the whole race. So for him to win it for us as a family, and especially Timmy, who's got the bug of greyhound racing, it was really, really special. So it was really family affair. Everybody played their part. You get quite emotional about it even now. But Rachel led him out. Timmy looked after him, and I watched on as a proud father, really.
You didn't have to wait long for another one. You won it last year as well with Gaytime Nemo, but you had 3 finalists last year. Did you feel pressure having 3 finalists?
I always do, because you feel that the pressure is on, because you want all 3 dogs to run really well for the owners. So it's a difficult one, and you don't really want to let anybody down. So like it was lovely to win it with Gaytime Nemo, because again, he was a homebred dog, and as luck would have it, he probably had the best draw of our 3 dogs. But it's a funny situation, because you're obviously delighted to have won it, but then you feel a bit responsible for the connections. But look, it's lovely to have 3 in the final. If we get through, I wouldn't say no to 3 in the final this year. You know what I mean? Normally you only need 1 to win it, but it is quite a bit of pressure.
And obviously the one that you won it with, Gaytime Nemo, he was your biggest prize of the 3. Did it surprise you, or did you know a run like that was coming from him?
Trapjaws sort of win finals, and to be quite honest, the dog come into the competition really fresh, so he was running himself into form, and it worked very well. He did, but Romeo Command turned right at the start, and Toaster's straps are quite narrow. There's not a lot of room in between them, so if a dog tends to move a little bit right, it does crowd the dog on his outside. So you could possibly see that happening. Obviously, Sword Drex have been fantastic all the way through the competition, and so did Clona Duke, who broke the track record twice. So. But it's always hard when dogs are running really to their top game to keep the form going. So he was a little bit the underdog with a big run in him, and on the night, that's what happened.
And I think it's fair to say with your team this year, we're going to go through them all, but it's such a strong team. So the hunger to win it is definitely still there.
Yeah, it's that's what you strive to do. I'm very lucky enough to have had the dogs to even try to do it. So long may it continue. It's a sort of sport, even at my age, you can get involved in at the top, so we'll enjoy it while we can. And every year you just wonder where your next year's open race dogs or your team of dogs are going to come by. So we've been very lucky to keep on turning them up, really.
You've been coming to Towcester for the last couple of weeks. For people that don't know, what are your travel plans? Do you come over each week, or do you stay over for the competition?
The first 2 rounds of the Derby, we'll stay at Dave Furniture's, because you'd be like passing ships in the night, basically, because if you didn't, the amount of dogs we got running, they're not all going to be running on the same night, and you got 3 nights. So basically, for the first week and the second week, because you've got 2 nights on the second week, they stay at Dave's. And what we tend to do at the moment is, when we're travelling over, is because of the way the ferries run, we're actually staying at Dave's. We get there about 5 o'clock in the morning, kennel the dogs for a few hours, let them out in paddocks. So it's also giving the dogs a taste of the new environment they might see for a week to 2 weeks, if you see what I mean. So it works quite well. It has worked quite well in the past. They've done well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And now going into the dogs more specifically, these are going to be in no particular order because they're all fantastic dogs. But I think we have to start with last year's winner, Gaytime Nemo. He's coming back to try and defend his title, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he's had a very quiet year of his. He's had a couple of not massive injuries, strained TFLs and things like that. Nothing great, but it held him back. And he's coming right at the right time, like he did last year. Really, he's a lovely, lovely dog. He knows the score as such. You know, just hope the ball wins a few rounds, and basically, if he got the semi-finals, we'd be happy at the moment. But he went to Toaster last weekend and ran okay. Didn't actually fly out the fours, come across him, but ran on really well. Was clear to the pickup, so he's going again next week. He is short of racing, but he was last year, so you never know. Lightning might strike twice.
Definitely, and he, like we said earlier, he was the bigger price of your three in the final last year. But when he did trap out, what was your initial thoughts?
Obviously, Romeo commands behind is very strong, and you're thinking, and we know Nemo's strong. So once you got to the third bend, you think, well, we've probably won this. You probably know, being in dogs yourself, you never like to shout too early. Probably a bit closer to the winning line because you've done it in the past and you've got picked up and you feel a bit of a fool and all the rest of it. So I didn't really start to shout until you come off the last bend. Obviously, very hopeful that he led round and he's very strong. So look, I think any of those three dogs, if they led, and I think if you're in front in any major final, it's a massive bonus because there's 5 good dogs all vying for one space behind you. You're normally quite unlucky to get picked up if you lead.
And what do you think made him such a good dog for it? He's got some early pace, but he also sees out the trip and his consistency.
Yeah, look, it's 500 meters, but it's also 700 meters really because it's a long way to the pickup. Although they're not flat out all the way to pick up, some dogs put so much into it. He recovered very quickly. He's a good 550, 575 yard dog with quite good early pace, but stays well. So, and he's a battler. It's all about qualifying. It's very rare, like Swords Rex. The pressure was really on him because he won every round, and they're only animals and they make mistakes. You'd have loved to see him be a big, like Swords Rex, say, be a good second or third in the semi-final. So probably, hopefully, that's his mistake out of the way. So he was always going to get a nice draw because Romeo Command was going to go up middle. So if he broke well enough to hold him off the bend, he had a good chance. So no, he's a really nice dog to train.
And how hopeful are you with Gaytime Nemo? How would he compare with the rest of your team?
Look, he's still got the engine. He's done 28.18 around Limerick 2 weeks ago. So he's still got it all there. He's likely raced this year. He's another fresh dog going into it. So you never know, do you? You're always hopeful.
Moving on to Clonbrien Treaty, he's been a fantastic dog for you already. He's won the Kirby and the St Edgar both at Limerick, and then recently the Easter Cup as well. A fantastic dog already for you.
Yeah, a very, very fast dog. Probably it took him a while to get used to Shelbourne to win the Easter Cup. It took him a while to get back to full fitness. Just that type of dog. He puts a lot into it. He loves Limerick. The long run up in the 550s in the St Ledger really liked it, if you know what I mean. And the Colin and Kirby, believe it or not, he is a wide runner, but he progressed to be a wide runner. He was inside seed when he won the Kirby from the inside. But no, a very fast dog. The question is, will he take the Toaster? Um, he's not a lightning breaker. He tends to step from the boxes and then runs. So it all depends how he breaks. And Toaster's quite a big galloping wide track, and it all depends how he runs the bend. So look, he's a dog that he's trialing there Sunday. He'll probably sit on the fence and see how he takes to it. But if he takes to it, he'd got a long way.
Like I say, he's got loads of early pace and he is a wide runner. So is it nice that you won't have to worry about the draws with him? He's going to pretty much get his draw every round.
Yeah. Look, if he starts to break really well, if he breaks level, he'll be fine. It's when if he puts a bad break in it and he's trying to get around the bend. So, and you just worry. They do tend to drive a shorter hare than they would in Ireland, in England. So, and they drive it quite short off the last bend because it's such a big bend at Toaster. Is he going to drift too far? I don't know until we try, but you've got to try really. Basically, I think there's going to be a lot of dogs because of the Irish Derby being in November coming over for the English Derby. So I think it's probably going to be a very exciting time for the English Derby.
How would he rate in your Derby team? I assume he'd be pretty high on the list.
Oh yeah, he's up there with the best of them. And one thing, Murphy's Jim Murphy and Kay Murphy and their daughter, they're very lucky, and you need luck.
Now moving on to Swords Rex, another one that's been a great dog for you. Won the Kirby in 2022, won the Easter Cup just before his Derby campaign last year. Like we touched on earlier, he won every round apart from the final. Did you expect him to take to Toaster as well as he did?
Yeah, I did actually. I just thought he's a very special dog. He's quite an exciting dog to sort of watch. He's got this sort of burst of energy, speed, and he's been one of the best dogs I've ever trained.
And he's not had too many races since then. Has another crack this year always been the plan?
He ran in St Ledger when Clonbrien Treaty won it. He was second to him in the final, but he had a tendon problem, and basically he's had the tendon out, and if he come back from it all right, he's still on his way back. That's why he hasn't run this year, but he's going quite well up the gallops and unofficially. We expect, all being well, not this Sunday, but a week Sunday, he'll probably be trialing around Toaster. If he's still got the engine there, which hopefully he has, I think he'll go well. His first couple of races back as a young dog, he tends to make a lot of mistakes, like charging the boxes and things like that, because he's quite excitable. So if all goes well, we'd like to get one race into him. So if he's going to make mistakes, he'll make them in that race and not in the first round of the Derby. Temptation was to use him at stud, and probably the sensible thing was probably use him at stud and just retire him. But Leonard Lanes is quite a sporting owner, and he probably he'd go a long way to get another Swords Rex, if you see what I mean. And he wanted to give the dog every chance, and so did I, to be quite honest, being quite selfish about it. So we've left his stud career alone and just concentrating on getting back for the English Derby and take it from there.
Moving on to the last of last year's finalists for Graham, Clona Duke. He won the Juvenile at Shelbourne in 2022, the Select Stakes at Waterford and the Select Stakes at Nottingham, the only greyhound to win the Select Stakes both sides of the sea. So another one with just a fantastic CV.
Yeah, lovely dog. He's Mr. Professional. He's just very easy to train. Gets on, and he produces the goods basically. Comes out and does his business, and a very nice dog. probably, like again, if Swords Rex had the inside or him, it could have been different. If you know what I mean, in the English Derby, whoever had the best draw on the on the night as such. But no, great dog. Come back and ran very well in the Easter Cup. Bit unlucky in the final night, really, that he didn't break quite as well. There was quite a few dogs playing up in the boxes, and he slightly missed it, but ran a fantastic race to be second. Um, Lovely dog to train. I think he'd do very well. He's probably grown up a little bit more this year because travelling was taking it a bit out of him last year. He's a lot more composed about it this year. He was a hard dog to like we put over to empty a dog. He's very hard to get to clean himself and things like that. He'd be worried about what's going on. But he's a lot more confident this year. I think he'd do very well.
Like I say, last year drew trap 5 in the final, so it was always going to be a tough ask from trap 5 for him. But hopefully, again, we'll expect the same Clona Duke that we saw last year, this year, and he could make the final again.
Yeah, no reason why not. Yeah, he was probably one of our youngest dogs in it last year. He's still quite a young dog, and he is Mr. Professional this year anyway.
The next one we're going to talk about is Swords Fudge, bred out of Riverside Honey, so homebred for you.
Yeah. He's a lovely dog. A bit of a pet, really. He always sort of turns up and runs a bit of a race, always in the prize money. It's the sort of a dog that if he took to Toaster, he's another dog that might get to the final, but probably we'd be pleased if he got to the final. Put it that way. But he's an interest. Some dogs will not ever take to Toaster, you know. But I think he's had 2 races around there already, and he looks as though he really does like the track. He's ran 2 very good races. So if he got the right trap draws, I think he'd go a long way. He stays the 500 very well. He's sort of not quite good enough for a good 525, and doesn't quite get the 600 that well. He's an in-between dog, but what he does in between is quite good.
He wasn't part of the Derby team last year, so why this year?
Look, we sort of he's come back from his winter rest. He's done quite well unofficially and things like that, and we were going, so there isn't any sort of major competition in front of him. They say we're going to put him in that, and because of the Irish Derby being back at the other part of the year, he's come along for the ride, and he's booked his place on the bus basically.
Now, one of 2 bitches in the team is going to be Bocco's Crystal. She's won loads of races for you. She was second in the Irish Derby final last year. Would you say that's her biggest achievement so far?
Yeah. Look, she ran a massive race to be second. She made one mistake in the final. She hesitated to which way to go, inside or outside, and for it, I don't know if it cost her or not, but it definitely didn't help her. A fantastic bitch. Always runs a big race. Been a pleasure to train, really. She was unlucky last year. She went over. I think she totally missed a break and still won a trial stakes. Coming season the next day, so she missed it completely. And she's had a sort of in and out start this year. Is that we had to pull her out the cold coat. She'd won, but she's just done a bit too much for herself. She's a touch of soreness, so we've got her back from that. She's trialling at Toaster Sunday for a sprint, and probably going to trial stake the week after. I'm going to take it from there, but she's a beautiful bitch. Yeah, she actually gets up to 600. She won the 600 as a young bitch, and her brother were first and second. No, she's really exciting bitch to train because she can win out of any trap as well. She's won out of trap 1. You'd prefer her on the inside, but she's also won out of trap 6 as well. She's that type of greyhound.
And she's got great early, but she's got great all-round pace. And I think she's incredibly gutsy as well, so that's going to go well for her at Toaster.
Yeah. You know, and Graham and Bev, they love the Derby, and it'd be lovely for them to get to the final of the English Derby. with something. They've been lucky enough to win the Irish Derby with Lynch and Bucko. They're great supporters of the game.
Romeo Kingpin is going to be next. A slightly younger one for you. He's won a few races in Ireland, 28-20 at Cork, but most recently got to the final of the Kirby. He did go a favourite, but it was a very open race. After early crowding, could only finish fourth, but he's going to be in the English Derby team.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure if he get the 500 that well, to be honest with you. He's got good early, good middle. He's a dead railer. Thought he ran a little bit flat in the final, to be quite honest. He did get a bit squeezed at the first bend, but didn't break as well as we'd hope he would. But look, like I say, Dave, once you've had the bug of winning the Derby, you try to win it again, if you know what I mean. We'll see how he goes. We'll probably give him. I might give him a couple of weeks off after the Kirby. Maybe try and get him over for either a trial or trial stakes in the next couple of weeks. Very fast dog, good early pace, dead railer. Whether the long run does the pickup will suit him, I don't know.
So his running style will be trying to trap out, get to the front, and try and hold them off.
Yeah, catch me if you can, because if he's not in front of both bend, he's not going to qualify. Well, he'll be hoping to qualify.
And he's got a very good record for being in the first two, so the desire to win is there. So even if maybe not getting the 500, that is going to help him.
Yeah. Look, they've got to have the will to do it. If you know what I mean. It's not as if he falls away if he's not on the bunny. He does try hard, and like you say, it's all about qualifying, really.
Now moving on to new import, a lightly raced dog, but he's one of those, when he does it right, he's going to win well and do a good time. Can you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, sort of. He had a winter rest. Like you say, he's a little bit hit and miss, and if he'd done it right at the start, he's a middle to wide runner. If he didn't do it right at the start, he was finding himself a bit of traffic. But seems to come back from his winter rest quite well. He won at Toaster last week, ran quite well. There's a lot of dogs at the bend, drove the bend well and went on and won easy. He's owned by a syndicate run by a famous hurling coach over here, which is Liam Sheedy. Hurling is a big sport in Ireland. He coached the Tipperary team to win the All Ireland Cup, so he's quite a famous character, really, which is nice. His syndicate to get involved. They're very sporting. They'd like to have a crack at the English Derby, and he'd probably be an outsider, but he seems to. His first look at the track, he's been there twice. He totally missed the break the first time, and didn't really get involved in the race, and the track record was broke. But he ran very well last week, and he's sort of an underdog that can keep on qualifying. Nice genuine greyhound. Can do 28-30s. So if you keep on doing that, you're going to qualify.
Yeah, like you say, he was behind Droopy's Clue 2 weeks ago when he broke the track record, but got his head in front last week, winning in 29:37. I thought he ran the first couple of bends really well, to sort of sweep round in front. And if he does do well in the Derby, I assume he's going to have a lot of supporters at Toaster.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah. No, they're very sporting. They at the moment they just love having a dog running in the Derby, and long may it continue.
The next team member is going to be High Trend, won the €30,000 Laurels and won on the Winter Racing Festival weekend. So another one, he oozes class.
Yeah, lovely dog, Brindle, quite a striking dog. We were lucky enough to have three in the final of the Laurels, and he's a dog that he's a dead railer, and basically he's got very good trapping ability. And if he gets himself on the rail, it's very, very hard to pass. Because he wouldn't be the fastest dog in the world that would be taken, but he's very hard to get around. He ran very consistent in the Laurels. I'm not sure if he won every round of it, but he really took to Cork, and then we brought him back out, and he draw trapped well in the Winter Racing Festival. So once you get him in front on the rails, he's a difficult dog to pass. Very genuine. Doesn't know when he's beaten.
He's a June 21, but I think for his age, he's fairly lightly raced, so there's still plenty more wins to come from him.
Yeah, yeah. Like he's been it took a bit to get going. We took him to Dundalk for the national sprint, and he really sort of become a man there. He was very unlucky to get knocked out in the semi-final stage, being the short head, and brought him back, and to be honest, he put him into the longs, and he's never looked back.
And how would you say he's going to suit Toaster? Because that middle pace is going to be a good tool there.
Yeah, look, the 500 is going to be far enough for him. He's another dog that would have to. He's a bit of a kingpin that he wants to get out and get on the rails, catch me if you can. But because of the long run around the last two bends, the dogs that only just get the 500 seem to hold on, because it's very hard to pass on the bends. A lot of dogs will be parking up behind, thinking, "Oh, I'll get you on the home straight," but where they park, so the momentum's gone slightly. So he's a dog if he gets his draw, and it'd be interesting to see how he takes to the long run to the pickup, how much it takes out of him. But if he recovers quickly, I think he'd do very well.
The second bitch in Graham's team is going to be Faypoint Susie. Obviously, she started off in the UK with John Mullins, and she particularly started flying this time last year, was running really well around Toaster, won her first 2 rounds of the Derby, and actually beat Gaytime Nemo in the second round. So I assume when she came to you, you were more than happy to train her.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely lovely bitch. Very strong-minded, stubborn. But she's a really nice bitch, real strong type of a bitch. Knows what she wants to do, like basically. It took us a bit. She come in season when she come to us, and she took a bit of time to come back to form, to get her to the form that John had her in. She ran really well in the Cork Oaks. She ran it in a stake at Cork. Was unlucky in the final, sort of drawn the wrong side, and then she ran really well for the Cork Oaks. Was drawn badly in the Cork Oaks, but managed to get round in front somehow. But got picked up right on the running, just in the last couple of strides. Really pleased with her. So we were going to Toaster for that Maiden Derby, and she was an obvious choice to put in the van because she knew the place, and she proved how much she likes it. She's out and gone, ran really well. I think she'll do really well this year.
And she's a beautiful looking bitch, but she has that speed to go with it as well. That is her running style, though, isn't it? She likes Toaster, but she likes to smash out the boxes. And another one, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, definitely. She tends to get on the rail, and it's hard to get round her. But she tends to when she gets it right, she gets it really right. She jumps out really well. But when she gets it wrong, she gets it really wrong because it tends to go at the front of the boxes. But she's very quick at it, and 9 times out of 10, she does get it quite good. Nice bitch to train, you know. And one that's, for whatever reason, really loves Toaster.
Now moving on to Faypoint Harvey. He's had 1 race in the UK and he's already tasted big race success. It must have been a great way to kick off coming over to England for the Derby.
Yeah, it was not. That was the initial thought about going into the juvenile now, and like Dave Firminger wanted to try a couple out in the Maiden Derby, so we did look at it. And then we saw the juvenile for Harvey. He'd won the Munster Puppy Cup, ran very well through it, and was quite convincing. So we entered and hope we get an invite for it, and we did. So it was great. It was a bit of a messy. Well, it wasn't really. It was only a 4-dog race in the end, and he broke well in Catch Me If You Can again. Sort of felt his way around the track, but obviously we're still good enough to win it. So we were really pleased.
But just to enter him in that, I mean, you must have known the class of entries that Toaster were going to receive for it, so you must think an awful lot of him.
Oh yeah, he's a very fast dog. Sort of 28-30s around Clonmel. Starts and stays. He's a young dog that looks like he has taken to Toaster. He could go a long way in the Derby. Like as training, we've been lucky enough to get a few Derby finals and win a few Derbies. It's not always your first choice that just win him. If basically, he's a young improving dog that if he keeps on breaking well, he's going to go very well in the Derby, and there's no reason why he won't be breaking 29 seconds. And if you break 29 seconds round toast, you're going a long way, you know.
Yeah, and you think he'll come on a lot for the second look, even though he's already won the juvenile. There's more to come.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like I say, he was the shorter hair. He was tending to be coursing it a bit. He stayed middle, which he's more of a middle to rail dog, and you could just see, although he won the race, that his style of running, he stayed more middle. He will get used to it and go in a bit.
And what will the plan be with him? Is he going this Sunday or?
No, we thought like we keep him fairly fresh. Might take in another one next week, and then leave that to the Derby. Try and give him a fortnight off before the Derby, and take it from there.
Litterweight to Fay Point Harvey is Fay Point Sean. Up until the Kirby semi-final, he'd only lost 2 races. He's another fast dog for you.
Yeah, he's a full brother. We've been lucky enough to rear him here, and they're always nice pups, if you know what I mean. Very well bred. So they're sort of in the family, really. Jimmy's girlfriend Sheena, her mother, whelped them down, and we reared them. And Auntie and Adora would have bred them as such, so they are part of the family. It's really nice they've gone on and trained well for Chris Flanagan. He's a great little dog. He went undefeated down at Cork. In the stake down there, a little one race stake. And then he went up to the Munster Puppy Cup, where his brother beat him in the final. He beat his brother, I think, in the semi or something like that, and then his brother beat him in the final. So it was a great result for us. Done well in the Clonbrien Treaty. He's a battler. He just doesn't know when he's beaten. He puts so much into his racing. It's unreal. He run through a brick wall for it. He's very determined.
How do you think he's going to take to Toaster?
I think he takes all tracks the same. He just wants to win. He don't care who gets in front of him, who gets in his way. He's going to try and win. He's got that type of attitude. Probably needs to start a little bit better. Whereas Harvey breaks just that bit better, gets him in the race. Where he tends to break just half a length down. He then has to battle, but like you say, he's how many races? He's only got beaten twice in 10 races or 12 races.
Yeah.
So it proves the point, really.
And both the brothers, they're sort of slightly younger types than your Swords Rex and your Clona Dukes, but how long has the Derby been the plan with them?
It's very hard to plan with dogs, isn't it, really? You have plan A, and when plan A's gone, you look at plan A again. There's no plan B, really. I found out a long time ago not to look too far ahead, because you get fairly disappointed, because there's a lot of setbacks on the way. But Chris Flanagan really would like a dog in the Derby final. So there's a few things that they could have probably stayed here for, like there's a Puppy Cup in Shelbourne, and then probably the Podger Stakes. But look, they're young dogs. They've got the engine. They might not be lucky enough to be here next year. So, so I think he wants them to take the chance this year, really.
Now, Graham, you had 2 entries in the Maiden Derby this year. We'll start with Garfinny Blake. He had some nice wins at Cork on his card. Was well beaten in the first round, but crucially qualified, but then came out and won his semi-final on Sunday. Were you pleased with that?
Yeah, to be honest, the first round he surprised me how green he was to the track. He broke very well, went down well, and sort of got lost around the first 2 bends. Went back to second or third, and then was very badly crowded at third. He tried to get across a dog, but hung on. He's got always knew the dog could run a bit, if you know what I mean, because although he's not put up great times, he's won his races quite impressively at Cork, and they look better than the time suggested was. Always knew he could run a bit, and the 5-1 was massive about him at trap one. It was just you were just betting if he took to the track again. There was a lot of trouble at the first bend. I think the 6 was odds on favourite because he ran so well the week before. But he is a sort of dog that catch me if you can out and go on sort of thing. He recovers very well, very energetic type of a dog.
The 6 railers in the final, you're drawn in trap 2. Are you happy with the draw?
Yeah, happy enough. Would have liked to be in trap 1 really, because obviously the favourite's in 1, I think. So he's got to get round him. But if he gets round him, I think it'd be very hard to get round.
It would be a great feat to come over, win the juvenile, possibly win the Maiden Derby, and then have a good crack at the main derby as well. So it could be a very good time at Toaster for you this year.
Could be, but it might not be as well. So look, we'll take every race as it comes. But he's come out of the race very well. You'd like to think he won just as well. He'll need to improve a bit on the overall time. Because obviously the 500 he must be coming back to him a bit because he's shown enough early. But like we said earlier, the only place to be in the final is in front.
The other entry in the Maiden Derby was Romeo Still. He managed to win his heat but found a lot of trouble in the semi-final, couldn't qualify, but he's going to be in the Derby team.
Hopefully so. I want to give him a trial next week, early part of next week, and if he goes well enough, we'll probably let Mavericks go because he's been round Toaster twice now. He's very unlucky. In his last race, he's in trap 5 and everything made the bend together. Basically, he was lucky to stand up, but will come off okay. He's quite a fast dog, but he's very slow away all the time, and then got a very good early pace. So, to be honest, he needs to get a bit of luck in trap draws, and that's what he hasn't had over here. Basically, when he's been drawn inside, he's been able to win, but when he hasn't, he's found trouble. So we're hoping that if he starts to break a bit better, he's got the early pace to go where he likes. But he gives him a yard at the start. So he's a young, improving dog. So anything could be there really.
This thing is just in August 22.
Yeah.
Does that put you off or not?
There is a Podger Stakes, but yeah, again, look, once you've won the Derby, you probably the hunger's there. I don't know. And Dave, I'll see how he goes in this trial, and I'll talk to Dave Firmager, and we'll make the final plans on.
Now, the last member of Graham's team, and quite big news that has come out today, is you now have Irish Derby winner, the other Covey, in your kennel. Can you tell us how that's come about?
Yeah, the guy who owns him, he's quite a stud, so he thought he'd give him a chance at the English Derby, and seeing we're going with such a team, and we've been lucky enough to win it the last couple of years. He asked us to give him a tryout, so he's having a trial Sunday, and we'll take it from there really.
He settled in well to the kennel?
Yeah, he's a lovely dog. He's settled in with another bitch, Faith Point Susie actually. So and I see him getting on really good. He's eating well and doing everything he should do. So he's worked well, and we'll see how he goes in this trial and take it from there really.
But you'd be hopeful for the English Derby. It'd be a nice double.
Look, to be honest, he's a fantastic dog. Great early pace. Wants to be on the fence. Got quite a good trapping ability. There's a lot of things to get used to, the traps, the start, and one thing or another. But if he brings his A game, I think he'd go very well in it.